Hi, my name is Will Latham, and today I'm going to be showing you how to properly give your trumpet or brass instrument a bath. Fill up a bathtub with lukewarm water. Make sure it's not too hot so that you don't damage your horn, and I like to put a towel on the bottom to prevent my horn from getting scratched. First, start with taking your valves apart and make sure that you take out the felt pads and as well as the cap on top of the valve and the spring from inside the valve, because all of these parts inside the valve cannot get touched by water or else it will prevent your horn from working in perfect condition. I like to lay them out with valve order just to make sure I keep them nice and dry. Then keep going and taking out all the slides on your horn and laying them in the bathtub. Make sure that you keep it nice and organized so that you know what part is what and so you can put it back together later easier. If you find that any of your slides are stuck on or you can't get them off easily, don't take it to your dad. Instead, just put a towel through it and gently pull harder and harder until you get the slide to come out with the towel. Make sure you don't use any wrench or anything like that on your horn. Once I have everything down in the lukewarm water, I put a little bit of dish soap and swirl it around, and then I let the trumpet soak for about an hour so that all the gunk gets loose inside the horn. While the trumpet's sitting, it's a good idea to take your mouthpiece and put a little bit of dish soap in it, and then take your mouthpiece brush or a Q-tip and just run it through it and make sure that you get all the gunk out. It's good to do this about once a week just to keep your mouthpiece clean and gross, because they can smell bad if you have bad breath, and it's just gross to have a gross mouthpiece. Now that it's been sitting for about an hour, work the snake brush through all the slides in different places in the trumpet to get all the dirt out. This is the reason why we want to clean it. Look at the inside of my lead pipe, how dirty it was. All of this affects your sound and just what it feels like. And look at the first push through with the snake brush. Oh, it's so gross. All that stuff was in my horn. Keep working through all the different slides and make sure you get all the dirt out. And it's super important that you're super gentle and don't scratch any part of your valves or your valve casings, because this will ruin the suction in your horn and make it perform worse. Take everything out of the bath and lay it on a dry towel and let it air dry for a little bit. Then I go through everything and wipe it down with the towel just to make sure that everything's dry. I put all the parts that couldn't get wet on the valve back together, and then I put a little bit of slide grease on the threads just to make sure that they don't get stuck whenever I'm rethreading the stuff. I put slide grease on all of my slides and work it back into the horn. If you've never done this before, this is why your tuning slide doesn't work, and trust me, it'll make it work way better once you do this. Then I push the slide all the way back in, and there's a bunch of leftover grease that didn't stay on the slide, so you can just wipe that off with a towel. Repeat this with all the other slides, and with the tuning slides that you have to pull out like with your fingers while you're playing, the third valve slide and the first valve slide on trumpet, I like to add a little bit of Slido-Mix trombone slide grease just to help it work a little bit better. Or you can use valve oil as well if you don't have that. And then whenever putting your valves back together, make sure to put a good amount of oil because they're completely bone dry and you don't want them to get seized and bad. So make sure you use a good amount of oil when putting the valves back together. If your horn is silver, it's a good idea to take it outside and spray some silver polish on it. When you spray it on, put light and even coats on it, and make sure not to put too much on one place. When getting ready for a competition or a marching show, you really don't need to shine the entire trumpet, like the valve casings and all the slides. I just like to do it after I clean it, but before a competition or a show, you can just shine only the bell part because that's the most noticeable. Wait for it to sit on there for like a minute or so until it turns pink, and then wipe it all off with a towel and make sure to shine it. If you look at the towel, you can see all the black parts. These are parts of tarnish coming off, and that's all the gross stuff that you don't want on your silver. And now it's all done. It feels great and it looks great. The best part, we just get to stare at it.